Welcome to the BASU Lifestyle Show. This is a show about learning what it takes to build a superior you, mentally, physically, and financially. Today, we have Fuel Hunt with us. We got Joey, who's one of the founders, and I also have my co-host, Tony. Co-host, Tony, jump in.
Hey guys, so Joey and I have a weird relation. Not weird, but just different. My brother is married to his sister.
Correct.
And we are both the uncles of.
So are we all technically related?
We're all family.
Weird.
It's like Kevin Bacon.
We're all family.
Yeah.
We're all family.
Situation.
Yeah.
Yep.
How long have they been together for?
A long time, man.
Yeah. Decade, right?
Since I was living on Davisville Road at home, so it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's crazy. Everything's changed. When I first met you, you were not doing what you're currently doing.
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
What were you doing?
So by trade, I'm a programmer or an architect, software architect. So yeah, what I do now is very different. It is, but it isn't compared to what I had done previously. But I started programming actually when I was 10 or 11.
Okay. Wow.
Writing software, and I loved it. But I've had the epiphany now later in life that really I'm just more of a writer, like a creator. And at the time, creating applications and software was where I started. But now I'm still doing that. I'm just creating experiences, apparel.
And you can express yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of just what the system needs.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what you were doing then.
Yep.
Now you're fully engaged in Fuel Hunt, which is, it's becoming a larger than life brand. I see it everywhere I look. I see it on top tier fighters. I see it on a couple of actors. I see it on everyday people who are just tagging you guys constantly. Well, first of all, what is Fuel Hunt?
Yeah, so Fuel Hunt is a community, first and foremost, so I'm sure we'll get into the stories behind that. But Drew is the other founder, Fuel Hunt, co-founder. He's my cousin. We started Fuel Hunt in 2017 really because we were seeing trends in society. Three really: shortcut mentality, a victim mentality, and an entitlement mentality. We were seeing those in our communities. We were seeing those in our workplaces, and we did not subscribe to those mentalities. And honestly, we felt alone. We felt like we were outnumbered. Yeah, we felt like we were outnumbered. That we were surrounded by folks that had those type of outlooks on life.
It kind of feels lonely, doesn't it?
Yeah, so that's how Fuel Hunt was born. We said, you know what, we're going to create this community of like-minded people that are like us, who think like us, who don't subscribe to those things, who are willing to work hard and earn, the vision that they have for themselves.
We're against the grain.
Exactly. So a counter movement to the movement that we were seeing within society. So that's how Fuel Hunt started. It was started as a community. It still is a community. But a few years into the journey, we stumbled upon apparel and started to put a lot of our core messages on apparel, T-shirts, and really caught fire.
Yeah.
Really caught fire.
I saw it. I watched it. It was just whispers, and people in the family were just talking about it at first. Oh, this is what they're doing on the side. It's just a fun thing that they're doing, and now it's like, when did you said 2017 is when the genesis of Fuel Hunt was.
Yes, yeah.
When did you quit your job and full-time engage in
Last year.
So
literally, yeah. So it's been, Fuel Hunt was a labor of love and purpose for a good 5 years before I quit my full-time job. And I was an ass kicker in my full-time job. I was a high earner, you know what I mean? I was a high performer. And what I do now, like I said, is very different on the surface from what I did before, but much more fulfilling.
So more rewarding. So you kind of had to do something that was way more rewarding compared to just the paycheck and the software.
Level of output matched to what you were doing before, or is this a different gear for you?
As far as how hard this is definitely a different gear. I mean, you're an entrepreneur. Yeah. You get it. I think entrepreneurship is the ultimate personal development program in a lot of ways. And probably the hardest route one can choose in life. So yeah, this is definitely a level up.
I wholeheartedly agree. But I think I've done a lot of stuff that I loved doing. I thought I loved doing throughout my life. But what I do now with my wife and what we're doing with BASU is probably the most fulfilled I've ever been.
Yep.
And it's still in its infancy. We've been doing this since I've been in gym since 2018 with my wife, and before that, 2014, I opened my first brick and mortar. But we're just now finding our stride.
Yep.
And BASU's what, 6 months old?
Yeah.
So
And it's funny too when you work at 8 to 4. Even if you're doing like labor and all that, you're exhausted after, and you're just done. But you're doing this stuff, something you're into, and even if you're doing manual labor for your own house and stuff, you can go for like 12, 15 hours. But when it's the job, you're like, oh, I worked 8 hours today. I'm tired.
Yeah.
It's funny when it's your own something that you're passionate about. You just dig in and just keep hitting and hitting and hitting.
There's the key word, passion.
And people are like, how do you do that? How do you do this, this, and this? And you're just in it.
Yeah, it's passion and it's purpose. I was fortunate enough, I loved technology. I still do. And I had great teams where I worked. So I was still like hard charging, like 12, 13, 14-hour days. And I loved it. But I did feel resistance. And that was the indicator to me, like, I'm meant to do more. And I think that with how hard I charge and how much of my heart I put into things, that if I found a more impactful vehicle, that would be my fulfillment.
Well, I mean, you can work, what's the saying, like you can work 9 to 5 for somebody else, but there's still so many hours in the day left for you to work for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd rather spend 24 of those hours working on what I love to do than the extra leftover from the 9 to 5.
Exactly.
So let's say, all right, so you guys decide you're talking to your cousin, who's also your co-founder, and you say, all right, we like Fuel Hunt. We're going to start this brand. What is the process when you start? How does it go? Yeah, so
what we did for like a year straight before we founded Fuel Hunt in 2017 was every day on our ride home from our day jobs, we used to talk on the phone. And, you know, we would just bounce ideas off each other. Hey, I ran into this at the office today, this tricky situation. How would you navigate it? You know, just like the buddy system, you know, battle buddy, basically. And, you know, we were talking about those trends. And it's like, man, like all this entitlement, like, you know, dude thinks that, you know, he deserves a raise because of the time that he's been employed here. There's like no merit. Like something
I don't
like
even want to dig into that topic.
Right.
It's crazy.
So,
participation trophy.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm a hunter, like an actual hunter, not the metaphorical, physical as well, right? So I have a cabin in upstate Pennsylvania, and one of the things that we used to say at the cabin, still do now, of course now even more, everybody wants to eat but Fuel Hunt. Right. So I said that to Drew on one of our calls, and he was like, man, like, let's do something with this. Like that's the community right there. And I'm like, all right, Fuel Hunt it is. So that's how it started.
That fire.
Yeah, that's how it started. Yeah.
And I love the name. I mean, what was one of the first shirts? What was it like? Restoring the dignity.
Hard work.
Hard work.
Yeah.
That's our core purpose. Restoring the dignity of hard work.
Yeah.
Yep. So
the process in that is what for you guys?
So our core purpose, our statement is restoring the dignity of hard work through high quality apparel at this stage of our life cycle. Right. But we really believe, like, you know, my personal mission, I believe that I was put here to outfit people mentally and physically, right? So mentally in the mind and physically here, right, with the tools that they need to do hard things. Like that's what I believe. Fuel Hunt believes the same thing. If we do that, we can change society and we can restore the dignity of hard work.
So what kind of things do you think we have to get people to understand? Because that's kind of like what we're trying to do. We're trying to give people, we think it's mental, physical, and financial, because obviously if you're slaving to put food on the table, you don't have time really sometimes to do all of those things, to think about your passions. You just have to work and you're just surviving. So one of the things is we're trying to get people out of survival mode, but like, what do you guys think it's going to take? Because we all agree about society. It's crazy. So does it start with trying to get the younger people? What do you think it starts with?
I mean, there's a couple, I think, core beliefs that it begins with that I think people need to understand. I mean, the first one is that they're much more capable than they believe they are, right? You know, everybody, me, you guys included, we all tell ourselves a story. We all have a personal narrative, and 9.9 times out of 10, it's not positive.
True.
Right. So I think you know, one of those core beliefs that people need to really embrace and understand through practice is you're much more capable than you believe you are. Second one is you're really entitled to nothing except what you earn. You know, that's another one, and sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow, but when people turn that corner and they say, wait, I'm more capable than I ever thought I was, and now I have the ability, especially in this day and age with the free information, we're setting up a show.
That's our thing.
Here, right?
We say YouTube University, bro. You can learn anything.
Right. So I'm much more capable. I have all these tools at my disposal for free that I
right.
can build a skill within 20 hours. I believe in 20 to 40 hours you can build any skill you want, YouTube, books, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, what can I earn now? Like it really unlocks people, you know. So they're two of the things.
I think another issue with that, nothing. Well, one, we all have our personal ideas of like our lies to ourselves of why we don't do things. I think that's also something that's taught on an educational level. Just like even in elementary school, like it's okay to give up.
Yep.
On your, it's okay to give up on your dreams or on anything. It could be okay to give up on those building blocks or on these Legos or at the playground. But more importantly, I think what that message is such an important message for one, the youth is, I think, where we should start. But I think for adults to kind of translate that down, that's huge. If you get one person to start teaching people that way, I think it becomes
Snowball effect.
Yeah. We've seen epiphanies with, you know, the youth in our community all the way to, you know, folks that are towards the end of their life cycle. We've seen epiphanies all across the board. I think obviously getting involved with the youth early, or at least you know, high school age kids.
Yeah, I mean, sub 18
is
because they say college is like manipulating a lot of people. Sorry, whatever.
The longer, I mean, the longer you live in your cycle, the more you're a product of that cycle.
Right.
Like the earlier you change it, you know, the better. There's something really crazy that happens, and nobody wants to admit it. It's like prior to like kindergarten or maybe up to kindergarten, it's like you can be anything you want. You want to be a fucking astronaut? You can be an astronaut. But then, like in first and second grade, there's this like tampering. Yeah, it's like, well, let's set some realistic goals here. It's like, well, wait a second.
Go to the stars, but
You're still picking your nose. You're not that smart.
Right. Where I have a very different outlook on life. I see everybody as like limitless. You know what I mean? Like the only thing holding them back from what they truly want to do is their own mind.
They put on themselves.
Yeah. So, there's some core beliefs. I think that you can have impact with your movement, just like we've had with our movement at any age, really. You know, any age.
So it's just a matter of keeping at it and growing.
It's like what's going on outside that door. Repetitions.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's the reps. It's the reps on breaking down the limiting beliefs. It's the reps on the actions and habits. It's just reps.
Yeah, like
reps,
I think
reps.
sports, working out, all of those things kind of help you learn, like, hey, if I stick to something and keep doing it, I'm going to have a positive result. It's like eating healthy if you're overweight. It's like just sticking to it. You realize that you're going to gain momentum and you're going to keep going. But it's a matter of getting them to take that first step towards doing it, which hopefully your community can do.
Yeah. One of the easiest ways or one of the best ways to make that first step easier is to surround yourself with like-minded people. You know what I mean? That's why.
If you go to any of our gyms on our walls, community, honor, integrity, and commitment. Without any one of those, we call it our 4 pillars for the Wolf Fitness brand. It's without one of those pillars, the whole thing crumbles.
Yep.
So when I walked in here at 6 o'clock tonight, before I worked out, I'm thinking all these people worked wherever they work today. I have no idea where all of them work, but I know they have jobs. And they could have went home, sat on the couch, watched whatever they wanted on Netflix, but instead they're putting in the time here, doing their reps, building themselves a superior version of themselves, their version of their BASU, whether they know it or not. It's subconscious on some levels.
Yep. I think that there is an awakening. You know, different people have it at different ages, but you're right. I think that some people fall into sports or training or nutrition, and it's subconscious. They haven't had that awakening yet. That like, oh shit, I'm actually building. I'm building a better version of myself.
Building a superior you.
Yeah.
Yes, building a superior you.
That's your BASU moment, like because
that awakening.
But when it clicks, it's like.
Yeah.
We're trying to use you as an ad. I almost had you now.
The best part about it is I think that once you have that moment, you start to feel limitless. Like I've done this. What else can I do?
Yeah, that's like everything in life, and it's funny because a lot of people, like you said, have that limit.
Yeah.
And they just don't realize they can get over it, and you're just like, just a little more.
Yeah. For the
who can stop you is you.
Yep, that's true.
I believe it wholeheartedly.
And start you.
Exactly.
The same thing.
Yeah, you have to choose to get out of bed.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't just wake up and that's the first thing you do. Whether you know it or not, you're waking up and choosing to get the fuck out of bed to get. To
sure.
bed.
Yeah, life is it's a sum of choices.
It's
for
finite.
sure.
It's not infinite. Like, you want to spend your day in bed or do you want to spend your day kicking ass? Whether you win or lose that day, you're still progressing the ball forward.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So how do you begin to turn it into a business? Like, obviously, we all like to inspire others. Like we kind of like started by doing that, you know, just by living your best life, you inspire others to want to do that. But you took it into a business now where you guys have Fuel Hunt, you're making apparel. How do you start to form the business? How do you start to make the business make money and make it worth putting even more time into?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys kind of started off with building your community as your base, right?
We did, and unknowingly, like I said, we set out to build a tribe, a community of like-minded people, and we really weren't focused. I would love to tell you that we had a master plan, but we really weren't focused on like what's this going to look like in 5 years. We were just so in the now and present and making connections and saying we're not alone, you're not alone, we're not alone, you're not alone, we're not alone, and we just kept repeating that cycle. Then we came to a point where the community was asking for apparel. They wanted to see the words, you know, that we were writing on our blogs and our posts on clothing.
They want to be a part of it, yeah.
That cost money, right? Like to purchase inventory. And, you know, it was a watershed moment that we had. I said to Drew, I said, do we have a blog or do we have a business? That was the question. And it was over the phone, and I said, it's quite fine to have a blog.
Yeah.
But if we want to go big, right, and we want to actually change society, we're sitting here saying we want to change society.
Are you going to jump in or what?
Right. The way to have massive impact is through money. You need dollars to have massive impact. It's just the way it works. So that's when we started to get serious about the apparel offering, and we bootstrapped the whole thing ourselves. And you know, it was tight. It still is tight. You know, people see Instagram, they see the big HQ, they see all the stuff, and they think like, you know, you guys are rolling in it, you drive in your G-Wagons, and you work out all day, and then you go home, and you just spend 7 hours with your family, and no. The work is so much harder than it was in the beginning. So much more rewarding and fulfilling, but so much harder.
We also have how many employees?
The risk, yeah, a handful.
Yeah, so I mean,
a lot of, you know, our team is a small, mighty team.
But I'm saying in terms of you have those people on top of your family, now you have those people rely on you to get paid to feed their family.
Of course.
So you have that weight on top of your shoulders.
Yeah, of course. Of course. That's the other thing. Entrepreneurs, business owners sometimes get demonized in today's culture, and you know, they take a lot of risks and they shoulder a lot of burden and they create opportunity. And I think that's one thing that's missed. But yeah, it's a heavy burden, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
Sure you wouldn't either.
No, I mean, I can't think of anything else I would rather do.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was in the gym, in business, or anything else, I just know that I can't work for somebody.
Yeah.
I was never fulfilled doing that, and I guess I work for my wife. She's my boss. But
don't we all?
I'm fulfilled.
Yeah.
And she motivates me to look for the next locations, to what are we doing for the next 4 steps of gym stuff.
Sure.
What are Steve and I doing here with BASU? Like, she wants to know what the idea is, because when she hears it, then she's like, all right, I'm fired up now.
Yep.
When your passion translates when you talk about things.
Oh, of course.
And if it doesn't translate, then she called me out on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I
Yeah.
think it's like your wife.
My wife does the same thing. Very analytical, very supportive, lets me be me, which I think is one of the greatest things that you can find in a marriage or in a partnership or a relationship. But yeah, she'll check my shit. Like if I do something and I say, oh yeah, look at this, because I'm a visionary, right? So I have like 1,000 ideas a day. Right?
I sound the same way.
And there's like 2 of them that are like really good. You know, the other 998 are, you know, just okay. But she'll check my shit, which I'm very grateful for her.
She's like, what the hell are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense.
Beautiful things. It's the ability to execute on them is what she's like, well, is that executable or is that just a dream?
Sure.
Like, is that possible? If it's in the realm of possibility, she'll say go for it.
Yeah.
If it's like, that's either going to cost us another mortgage,
Yep.
or it's just not doable right now.
Or you need a bridge to get to it. Like, it's not doable right now, but
and we don't throw it away. We put it right on the vision board.
Yep.
She's huge on it. She got me into it. We have a 5x5, one of these.
I thought so. I thought you guys are vision board guys. So am I, obviously.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's changed the way that I categorize things of importance.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not on the board, I don't have to worry about it right now. I only have to worry about getting the stuff off that board so I can make room for the stuff that's next to it.
Yeah.
And then we're always shifting.
Yep. People think it's like a lot of like woo-woo shit. The
That's
vision board
the
thing.
problem, yeah.
But it's
It's a tool.
what's happening is like they're missing the work part.
Yeah.
Like I think the people that think that it's like woo-woo stuff, they're like, ah, yeah, you paste these images on a board and then it just happens. You stare at it every day. It's like, well, no, you have to do the work for it to happen. That's the
you believe in that
crux.
type of stuff, the visualizations, seeing it.
I do. I'm big on visualization, huge on it. We have a tool for the community, Daily Attack Plan, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with.
I've done it a couple times with you.
Well, tell us about it, just because some of our viewers may not know about it.
Yeah, so that's the platform that we provide to the Fuel Hunt community. It's a mindset and productivity platform. It has a couple key pillars in it. All of them really surround around three things: vision, intent, and action. So having a clear vision for your life, the life that you want to design, having intention behind everything you do, and then the actual actions, the things that you do on a daily basis to move you closer to your goal. Also in the platform, we have like gratitude exercises. We have a not to-do list, which is just as important as your actions or your to-do list for the day. We have some goal-setting tools. But visualization is the beginning, or creating your visions is the beginning of that entire Daily Attack Plan process.
Did you have, so before you guys decided you were going to start Fuel Hunt and have that conversation, did you have like in your mind, like, I feel like I'm going to do something like this? Like, not obviously Fuel Hunt, but it was like, I feel like I should be creating something. I should be giving more to people. I should be inspiring people, or not really at all?
I, to some degree, always did that because I was a leader in the organizations that I worked for. Like I've led large teams, 20, 30 people, tech teams. And even in the organizations, I was always a leader. Like I was always like a council member in the organizations, like not like a board member, but like a strategic council member in a lot of the agencies that I worked for.
So they relied on you for it.
Right. So I was fulfilled there, at least I thought I was. You know, I was fulfilled there. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd be here doing this now. But I like I was saying earlier, I felt the resistance, and I just listened to myself, and I practiced mindfulness. I just sat there and I just thought about it in silence by myself, and I was like, I'm meant to do something else. Like, what is it? And
it just slowly came.
Yeah, I followed the path.
I think that makes a lot of sense, because that's kind of how this started. We've always been talking about different things, and then it slowly became like, well, what if we did something? We were talking about like a podcast, a show, and then I stopped liking a lot of the clothing brands when a lot of the weird shit was going on with COVID and all that.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what if we just do something small for us that we like? I talked to Tony. He was like, build a superior you. I love it.
The best things are organic.
Yeah.
And if nobody else fell onto the BASU wagon, I would still be sitting here doing this. I would still be sitting here wearing it because it means something to me.
Yeah.
It means something to us, growing our... I mean, even if we're just growing our network, like now... We're hanging out, you know what I mean? We're sharing our knowledge with each other. That's what I think the awesome thing is. I mean, it's cool too. We have people calling us, like, I had somebody call me today, like, hey, you were talking about finance with so-and-so. What do you think about this, this, and this? And I'm like, oh shit, like, people are actually paying attention and wanting to learn.
Yeah.
It's not just us alone just trying to learn on our own, which is cool, but it feels good.
I like picking the brains of these people because I want to also improve where we're at in life.
Sure. You have the overall intention to then still pass that along. 100%. You know what I mean? So that's what makes it all work. But yeah, you guys are, I guess maybe an hour. I'm in Center City, Philly, an hour 15 minutes away. If you guys were 3 hours away, I still would have drove down because I like jamming with like-minded people because of like what you just described. What comes out of it. If we don't like the state that we're in, whether it's individually or society or there's weird shit going on in the world or whatever, the way to do that is to band together and
form a community. It's like ants.
Jam.
You're stronger.
Basically.
Stronger together.
Basically.
I don't know if we're allowed to say that. I think that got taken off of Instagram one day.
Is that
the ants clip got taken off. You're stronger together.
We got fact checked for crows and eagles. So look, I mean, it's a weird world out there. Yeah, weird world.
That's
insane.
Yeah. I think like I don't know if I want to say that.
Pass. Pass.
Better off not. All right, we'll dig into a little more serious topic. All right, so, what does it take to really build a business? Like you said, it's tough, but like what goes into like the starting of it? Because people don't even know where to start. Like Tony knows where to start. I know a little about where to start, but where does somebody who wants to build, not even like a clothing business, just any little business community, how do you start?
Yeah. First and foremost, I would say make sure that you have a strong purpose. And that purpose isn't, for a lot of people, they say, I want to be my own boss, or they say, I want to make a shitload of money. or they say, I want more time off. And all those things are great. Maybe that's what they do want. But what I would recommend is having a strong purpose that's rooted in service to others.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, that's where I would say start. Like, I wouldn't even say get the fucking paperwork and your LLC and set up your bank account. No. Like, when folks come to me and they say, hey, I got this business idea, the first question I ask them is, like, how are you going to add value to people? Like, what is your strong purpose that serves others? And a lot of the times, they're
just looking at you like, wait, what?
Exactly. Yeah,
that wasn't in the business book.
Yeah. You need something strong like that to light the fire underneath you, to sacrifice and endure, because it's fucking war, dude.
And I feel like you have to give a strong shit about whatever that business is, because there's days, weeks, months, you're paid last a lot of the time when you're starting to grow, or you're just not paid at all.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, like I went 3 years not being paid. Just to get to a spot where, okay, now the business is making money.
Oh, for sure.
Pay you, and then, oh wait, let's go open another one, and then you're not being paid again.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit.
Yes.
You can't endure the fire. Don't get near it.
Yeah, you have to eat a bunch of shit sandwiches, like, and if you're going into it with the goal of, I want to make a shitload of money, which is great, like, I have no problem with that. Do a shitload of good with that when you make it. Yeah. But if you're going into it with, I want to make a shitload of money, those first 3 years where you're making zero, you're not going to last, dude. You're going to be like, fuck this.
And on top of that, like, I'm sure when you're making content in the beginning, you're getting, like, Tony might be liking it, your cousin's liking it, maybe your mom and your two friends. Like, nobody's liking your shit when you're doing it in the beginning. And you're putting everything out there, right? Like, think about some of the posts you're writing. Like, you're putting your heart out there sometimes.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean,
so what's it like when nobody's liking your shit?
Yeah, again, you just have to, you have to have...
I like my shit, so I don't care.
That's where I'm slowly getting to, but, like, you're, like, laying everything out there.
You have to have it, like... And this is my opinion.
Yeah.
You have to have a borderline delusional belief in self.
Yeah.
Borderline delusional. And I'm not saying that you're like, you think you're the shit and you think you're always right, but you have to really believe in what you're doing. You know, you may not be adding value to somebody's life in the perfect way in the beginning. The words may not be perfectly crafted. The show may not be perfectly crafted. The apparel may not be perfectly crafted. But you have to believe that through the reps, you will get to a point where you will literally change someone's life. And then if you believe that, you're fine.
And then especially like when you start getting that feedback, it feels really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like even if you're not making any money, like we're just spending money right now. And it feels good when somebody calls you like, hey, I watched your video. I really liked it. Like, that really inspired me to do my push-ups today or do this today.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, that's awesome. Like even if this is just a passion project, we love this shit.
Yeah, I mean, you guys
Best
do a lot
feeling
of
in the
calls
world.
to action too. November for you guys was what? What's the call of action? I just looked at it this morning.
For 30 for 30?
Yeah.
Planking.
Planking. 3 minutes accumulative, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing 100
over the
push-ups
day.
a day.
Okay.
No matter how you want to spread it out. And it's just, I like the call to action. This one's a physical one. We're going to have some mental ones and some other ones coming up. But like, I feel like I'm engaged. Like, he's been getting tagged all day with people that he knows who is doing the push-ups and he's reposting.
Good.
And I'm like, all right, cool. More than one person's doing these push-ups.
It's not just me, Tony. My girl Megan's doing them.
Yeah.
I got two friends. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, we might be giving ourselves a prize at the end of the month.
Yeah,
whatever.
There you go.
All I got in my mind is 3,100 push-ups. I don't even know if there's 31.
I was going to say, I think our number might be 30. I don't even know.
I don't know.
We'll fact
Those
check
details, we'll figure that out later. We'll solve that hard problem later.
And I'm stoked for him.
Yeah. People, everybody. People thrive on challenges, and that's why we have so many challenges within the community, even within Daily Attack Plan, because that's what's missing, I think, from society today. There's too much comfort, not enough challenge. So, like, when you have somebody that, especially if it's somebody that's living the life that maybe you aspire to live, throw down the gauntlet, and even if it's a simple challenge, you're fucking stoked. You're like, all right, let's do this. You know what I mean? We did 30 for 30. We started that in August, I think. Just because we wanted to inject more challenge into society, and it caught on like wildfire. We were like, fuck.
It caught on in our gyms. We had people doing your mini Murphs because
really? Oh, that's wild.
JJ.
Oh, JJ, yeah.
So she
JJ.
had reposted it.
Soul of the earth.
She's
I
got
love
so
her.
many followers at our Brigantine gym that other people were doing it in the studio.
Nice.
And I'm like, wait, what are we doing?
Nice.
And then they showed me the post. I'm like, all right, let's do this. So I made my boot camp people do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Nice.
Which was awesome.
Yeah,
it
caught on.
Workout.
It fucking caught on like wildfire. I was like, damn, we should have done this like 4 years ago.
Yeah, you don't even realize it.
We didn't think of it.
Murph, right?
Yeah, Mini Murph was, we have a community member, Do, who's in upstate PA, who's doing 365 days of MRF, full MRF, 365 days to raise money for various charities.
Of that full MRF.
Yeah. So we like to keep things achievable, because the 30 for 30, there are going to be physical and mental benefits. Like, we've done reading, stillness, things like that. But really the benefit is consistency and habit building. If you can do something, a very small percentage of the population can do something for 30 days straight.
Is it the attention span? Is it they're not feeling the reward of it? Like, obviously you're not a psychologist, but like through your own thoughts, what is the reasoning? Because I can't figure it out.
I think, I think the root of it is the personal narrative. It's always the story that they tell themselves. But I think that it's been accelerated by short attention span, and we live in a very comfortable world right now. We're still,
Well, it's acceptable in the world to be comfortable in your surroundings and not want to aspire to achieve more or greater or better things for yourself.
Standards are much lower.
The next step further from it's okay to not do anything is the expectation that somebody will come through and give it to you. Which that's not the message that I'm never going to teach my children that message. And if somebody wants to, I'm not going to tell you how to parent. And I'm not a psychologist either, but I feel like it's damaging to anybody's psyche to be reliant on anybody but themselves after a certain age.
Yeah, I agree. Self-reliance is a huge personal pillar of mine. I take it to the extreme, which I, sometimes,
the whole point, right?
sometimes I'm like, all right, Joe, reel back in a little bit.
Chill a little bit.
Yeah, chill a little bit. But I agree with you. Standards are much lower nowadays. It's acceptable, to be comfortable, and it's. I don't pass judgment on others. Like, if you want to, I think it's great to go to college. I think it's great to work a 9 to 5. I think it's, the life that Fuel Hunt Eagles or Fuel Hunt community members live isn't for everybody. It's not because we're better. It's just because we're choosing to be uncommon and be different.
And that's your happy place too. Like, if you're working a 9 to 5 and you hate it and you're doing it just to support, it's like, figure out how to change it.
I know plenty of people who work 9 to 5s that are very happy.
If you love your job, you go home and you have fun with your kids, great. But if you're going home and you're pounding a case of beers or smoking pot just to go to sleep at night, you might have a problem.
Time for a change.
It might be more your circumstances instead of whatever else you're trying to blame. Your situation.
Yeah, I like that. One of the common things that I find in the message that you guys put out there is that it's okay to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, there's comfort in discomfort. Like the against the grain mentality. It's not it's not the easiest of the roads, but when you get to the fucking end of the road, the reward is tenfold. Which is kind of like, again, that's just how I read your message, and I like that.
Yeah, we definitely have a war on comfort. For those that want to subscribe,
I like that.
For those that want to subscribe to it, you know what I mean? I feel like people's best selves, right, their superior yous, right, are only built through discomfort and adversity. The people who have done the greatest things on planet Earth had the odds stacked against them. It was very uncomfortable, and it's not a road for everybody, but I do wish everybody would just give it a chance, even if it's like, just wake up 15 minutes earlier. Dude, start there. You know what I mean? Do something that's uncomfortable for you. Do that. Wake up 15 minutes earlier. See where it takes you.
I shove my face into cold water every morning in the sink.
Yeah, a little face dunk. Yeah, a little face dunk.
Just to wake up. Do that once.
Yeah.
Do that 10 times. Do it just to change your pace.
Yeah, it's been weird. It's been a weird journey for me, because when I was in my probably late teens, I was doing cold showers and sauna and stuff like that, and everybody thought I was weird. They're like, why would you take a cold shower? And I'm like, dude, you don't get it. It's the best cup of coffee ever. And
it actually is.
And people are like,
for a little bit. It was part of the. I have to say, because I say it every episode, it was a part of the 75 hard.
So you did 75 hard.
Yeah. Then one phase, you have to do a cold shower for 5 minutes every day. And you get done and you're like, holy shit, that was espresso. And I'm a coffee guy. I love coffee.
I love espresso, yeah. So I was doing all that shit when I was 19, so it was, exactly. So I was a weirdo, you know what I mean? I was eating all these weird berries with antioxidants and shit, and people are like, what is up with this guy? Now it's
spend your money on that.
Right, now it's commonplace.
Now it's what berries are you eating?
Yeah.
That's the first thing he'd ask. Have you heard about beet juice?
Yeah. The pump. The pump from
See,
Peaches.
he
yeah, I
knows.
know, dude. I
Juicer
get it.
comes over to our house on the weekend, brings beats and a juicer.
Nice.
Got to be prepared for a good
Nice.
pump at the gym. You
Nice.
can't show up without a good pump.
Yeah, beet juice is the secret to the pump, dude. I put a little pink Himalayan salt in my drink before
That's why
training.
G-Code does all of our pre-workout stuff.
Yeah.
They're all beet juice and Himalayan pink sea
Yeah,
salt.
yeah.
What's the sea salt? I never heard this one.
For the pump? Yeah.
Huh, I didn't know it had anything to do
get
with
your
the
blood
pump.
flowing and yeah. I
Wow.
do EAAs,
Sodium.
glutamine.
Well, I use the other salt that has iodine we were
salt?
talking about because you know the iodine's good for your thyroid.
blood.
Okay.
They added iodine to salt
Yeah.
back because nobody was getting enough iodine.
Yep.
So
I know it's good for your
thyroid.
thyroid.
It's good for the
in
circulation of your
salt,
blood.
It's only in iodized table salt, like the
The cheapest salt.
Oh
bleach.
yeah, stuff they bleach. Yeah, yeah.
So you
What?
gotta eat the bleach to get the iodine.
yeah.
Um,
Yep.
So I know that and this is like warping back to the conversation. That
Yeah,
we
sure.
had
It's a
earlier.
good
You guys
turn.
have, like I said, I've seen you guys doing a lot of like MMA stuff now, and I see
Mm-hmm.
you on. Well, it wasn't Bellator, was it? What was the fight that you guys hosted?
Yeah, so we've sponsored Bellator fighters.
Yeah,
so
okay,
we've
it was
been
Bellator.
we've been on Bellator on Showtime. Obviously, we've been on the UFC,
Yeah.
CFFC. Pro fighting leagues outside of them, regional ones, amateurs.
Is that like a
Everywhere.
Is that like a natural evolution, or did you guys get hooked up with these people, or?
Yeah, I mean it was natural.
Yeah.
I think that our mindset of rejecting the victim mentality, of hard work, of earning results, of zero entitlement, no shortcuts, like that really lines up with those
I
that practice
think so.
martial arts and fighting.
The discipline,
Those disciplines.
dedication, being okay with tasting your blood every once in a while.
Exactly. So Drew was actually acquaintances with Sean Brady. And Sean Brady he loved the shit we were doing back in the day, just when we had t-shirts, maybe a couple of hats. So he started rocking, and I think he was the first one to really ask. He was like, yo, when are you guys going to do rash guards?
Yeah.
And we're like, I had, at that time, I had never practiced any martial art. And the only fights I had been in were ones that I didn't want to be in on the street. You know what I mean? So, I
Yeah.
had no experience. So I'm like, rash guard, the thing is...
Why would I?
Yeah, right.
How would I have them? How would I even make them?
Right. Yeah, what, just for surfing? How do you... Then we started to understand, and that's when we started to develop fightwear and take some of our core messages there, put it on fight gear, and then
That's
bring it to the fight community.
I sent some down to my buddy Dave, and he loved it.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
he
Thank
loved
you,
it.
thank you. Yeah, so now we're all over. I mean, we're a sponsor of the World MMA Awards in December in Vegas, which was an amazing experience to be there
That was
with...
televised too, wasn't it?
It was televised,
We
yeah.
watched it on YouTube.
So, yeah, it was on CBS, ESPN. So to be there was super surreal. It's like a title sponsor.
Yeah.
So you have the top 3 fighters in pretty much every weight class of the UFC accepting their awards with a big Fuel Hunt Eagle behind them. It was like, this is insane.
Like, is this real?
Yeah.
Is this
And
real
I
life?
think at that time I had
Millions of viewers.
just quit my job actually too. So I was just
That's a
newly
surreal
full
moment,
time.
right?
So it was just wild. I'm like, is this real life? Is this real life? Yeah. But yeah, natural evolution. Since then, I've started jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
and it's been a game changer for my life. I love it.
Addicted.
Yeah, addicted, fully addicted, and I'm no spring chicken. I'm in good shape, but starting jiu-jitsu
How old are
at
you now?
40. Starting jiu-jitsu at 40 is it's an interesting go.
I really want to get into it, and I'm right behind you. I'll be 37 soon.
Yep.
But I think I got 120 pounds on you.
Yeah,
if not
probably.
more. So that'll be special.
I'm in a cut right now. I've actually never been this lean.
Yeah.
I'm 170 pounds,
Feels
but
good.
it feels great. But it's a challenge on the mats.
Yeah.
Because when I started, I was 190 pounds.
Oh, yeah,
And that's
weight
just
moves-
from
So-
training.
weight moves weight.
Yeah, and in the past 70 days, I've been working with 2 of my friends and coaches to cut down. So it's been a lot of diet
Are
too.
you gonna fight
Diet too.
or roll?
Yes.
Compete?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will compete.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I will compete. Yep. Yeah,
Do you
we'll
think
compete.
Fuel Hunt will sponsor you or no?
I don't know. It's going to be a tough sell, man. It's going to be a tough sell. It's going to be a tough sell.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
But I will.
You're gonna be around. I want to go watch.
Yeah, yeah. So more than likely it'll be in Broomall.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it'll be in Broomall. So I'll let you
That's
know.
doable.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Um,
I was supposed to compete in October, but I separated my shoulder. I was going to do it anyway, but nobody was in my director's class, which is the 40 and up.
Yeah.
There was only one other guy, and he was your size. And I'm like, with a
wanna
separated shoulder, I'm not going to go into it. So
That wouldn't feel good.
So soon though,
Okay.
soon I will. Yeah, soon I will.
Do you guys make your own clothing, or how does that side of it work?
Yeah, so when you're starting a brand, a clothing or apparel brand or whatever, I usually recommend when you start out to go with blanks. You know, there's distributors out there all across the U.S., really the world, where you can get blanks and have them screen printed, preferably with your own contract screen printer, because if you go through one of these services, you're going to pay through the nose. After you get some momentum behind you in that game, then you can go full cut and sew. So that's where we've transitioned to. So full cut and sew is when you're working with like you're doing custom manufacturing with the manufacturers.
Right?
Yeah.
Like your own,
Yeah. So this
pick the quality of the material,
right.
everything up.
So this hat is cut and sew. It has a chenille patch on it. You know what I mean? It has embroidery on the sides. Got a treatment on the inside. So the world's really your oyster because it's being created from scratch.
So you have your own basically mill. Where is this at? Is this in Philly?
We use all vendors.
Okay.
Yeah, we use all vendors. So we do have a big HQ in Philly. It's 9,000, just under 10,000 square feet. In there right now, we do all of our warehousing, our shipping, our fulfillment, our design work. Like literally everything is done in Philly, with the exception of manufacturing. Most of our manufacturing and screen printing and embroidery is all done on the East Coast, all North America. There's a small percentage of it that's done overseas.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Do you run your own social media? How did that, like obviously in the beginning you had
Who's
to.
in charge of the Fuel Hunt Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah, so nowadays, again, we're a small, mighty team. One of the members of our team is MG. She's a gangster. She runs our Instagram account nowadays. I still write all of the content. So
When I
all of
get your
those.
emails, that's you?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. So all of the posts, the captions, and the posts that you see every day from Fuel Hunt, I still write. But MG's in the DMs and making connections, making sure the community's serviced, not just from the apparel side, but from the mindset side. If somebody writes in and they're like, "Look, I'm having a hard time with this, that, or the other thing," her and I'll sync up. She'll let me know. She'll pass the person along. I can speak to them, but I'm not actively, and Drew's not actively in there. I log in the morning to post my my OG for the day.
How do you keep your content relevant without like repeating it? Like you want to make sure it's impactful and you don't want to just throw something out. How do you make sure you're still feeling it and it's making a statement?
Now it's much easier than it was in the beginning. Now we have 150,000 people to listen to.
Yeah, you guys have brands.
You know what I mean? We have
now.
people coming
people
to
following
us and
Saying, here's what I'm struggling with.
I'm
and you're
struggling
just
with this.
almost
I'm struggling with
responding to
that.
it.
Exactly. And we're saying, okay, well, let's add value to the community by addressing this person's pain point. It's the same thing we do with apparel. The same exact thing. Folks will write in and they'll say, I'm at this crossroad in my life and I'm feeling this way and I'm telling myself this story. And I'll sit there again in silence and solitude and I'll think about it and I'll say, okay, well, this is how I would address that pain point. And there's a core message that pops out of that. Feel the fear, do it anyway. Or something like that.
Now, does that
And then
come?
it becomes
Does that come in that
That's
moment?
why it's about brand for you guys, because you're about that struggle.
Yeah.
Like without struggle and strife, there's really, you never know success, right? So when that becomes kind of your guys' thing, I think it's awesome that people are comfortable enough to reach out to you, put it all out there and be like,
Yeah.
hey, I don't know you, you don't know me, but this is my problem. And
Sure.
And this
Can
is my
help.
community. How are
yeah,
you going to help
I'm
me?
a member of your community, like, let's do this.
Yep.
And you just sit there and tackle it.
Yeah, so that's how it stays relevant nowadays. In the very beginning, it was really just speaking from experience, like my personal experiences that I've had and the experiences that Drew and I had getting this community up off the ground. It was very personal. It was it was almost like that there was an enemy, and it was them. It was the people that weren't the few. It was the people that didn't want to see us succeed. It was the people that laughed, and there were plenty of them when we started this whole thing. You know what I mean? It was them, and it was directed at them. And other people, the content was directed at them, like, fuck you, we're going to do this. And other people resonated with that. And they were like, yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, fuck them, we're going to do this. Now it's transitioned, and it's a different value add to the community, I think. Yeah. But every day, I mean, my day is based, whether it's content I develop or designs or, whatever the team does. It's not just me. It's how do we add value to our community? It's the same question we ask ourselves today, right, to drive what we do, that we asked ourselves in the very beginning.
2017.
When do those things usually come come to me. I'm thinking of my own personal. When do those things come to you? Like, does it come to you just while you're sitting there reading it, or do you go to the gym? Like, what is your space where your mind can run and connect dots?
Yeah, my magic, that's a good question. My personal magic time is the morning. So I used to be a night owl when I was a developer. So I was the guy that would, get up at 9 o'clock and stay up till like 3 or whatever. You know what I mean? Just code and build shit.
And do it all over again.
Yeah. Now my magic time is in the morning. So I'm usually up around like 5:30. And, again, that's no like silver bullet. You don't have to get up early to get shit done. Like if I have a hard training day the day before or my recovery's low, I will sleep an extra hour.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a fucking robot. But my magic time is the morning. So I'm usually up around 5:30. It's uninterrupted time. My daughters aren't up. My wife isn't up. It's just me and my dog and my thoughts and my iPad. You know what I mean? And that's usually when a lot of this comes to me, between 5:30 and I would say like 11:30, noon. I train in the early afternoon. It's usually around like 2. And then after my training, I always have another like
Dude,
spurt.
oh my God. I get done the gym, and if my girlfriend's with you, I'm
Or
texting
during.
him.
Yeah.
I'm
Or during.
texting somebody like mid-workout. It's crazy.
The thing is,
Probably
I
harder
get.
for you in a combat sport to kind of in the middle of.
Oh, that I can't.
Yeah, that's.
I'm talking about weight training.
You're trying to survive
Yeah,
in a
weight
sense.
training. Weight training.
Like that's where my mind turns.
Oh
on.
my
Like,
God, I love
my
it.
Headphones are normally a podcast.
Yep.
I like listening to people talk.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, like I'm subconsciously listening to them, but I'm thinking about shit that I have to do next.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
endorphins are going. You feel great about yourself. Your blood's flowing. You feel great about the way you look. You feel great about the way you feel. It's a really good time for those ideas.
Yeah.
to
Oh
present
yeah.
themselves.
Sometimes you connect dots from 4 days ago, and you're just
yeah.
like, "Holy shit! How did I
Bicep
figure?
curl and fucking
How did I
just
figure
Yeah,
this
yeah.
out?" And my girlfriend will look at me across the gym. She's like, "Oh fuck!" And then I'll be like in my phone, like,
Yeah.
because it's just crazy how it just like clicks.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I was in Home Depot today with my wife. We're redoing her bathroom. And him and I are texting books to each other. She's like, "Who are you talking to?" I said, "It's my other wife."
That's
She
funny.
knows. That's all I'm talking to.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Yeah, doing jiu-jitsu, it's a whole nother story. My
Yeah.
brain is in
It's like when I was boxing,
attack
it's just,
mode
you know,
or survival mode. Yeah. Yeah.
you kind of just I'm just watching people's shoulders in their head, just trying to figure out, am I gonna get punched in the face?
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm thinking like, am I going to get choked?
Yeah.
Choke the fuck out. There's a beautiful thing about monotasking. You know what I mean? And for me, jiu-jitsu, like it's a monotask. Like you can only do that one thing.
Yeah.
Like the minute your mind strays, you get choked the fuck out or worse. So it's beautiful to monotask. It's one of those things. It's a lost art.
Also, when I was in law enforcement, I wasn't sitting around thinking about other shit. I was thinking about,
yeah.
I want to go home tonight, so
Yeah.
let's keep your fucking head on a swivel.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know these people. They don't know me.
Yep.
But yeah, everything else gets shut off, which is awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
You have any, what I wanted to ask you a couple minutes ago, him and I were kind of about to get there, was mentors.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any mentors that you've, or people that you looked up to prior to Few, or people who you're working with now? I know that, I know the one big name that you kind of refer to and are with a lot is Bedros,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But is there, and you can talk about that as well, but is there anybody else who's kind of impacted you in that kind of role since Few's been open or running?
I think that Bedros, who now we're fortunate enough to actually work together.
Yeah.
We're partners now. Which
So he's a
is,
part of
yes,
community. He's a part of
which
the business.
I can tell. I can go into that a little bit. I would say Bedros first and foremost, and Andy Frisella. We had a moment with Andy, like way into early, way back in the journey. I guess it was maybe 2018, early 2018, where he wore like some of our shit on the MFCEO project.
And you were like, oh shit.
And like, we were devouring his content. Like, I'm very grateful for him and what he does. And we had a moment where he wore like all our shit on the MFCEO project, and it was surreal. That's actually how we found our way to Bedros too, because he was on the show.
It's one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
Both of those
Yeah.
shows. I love
Yeah.
both their shows.
Yeah. So Bedros has been a true friend and mentor, whether he knew it or not over the years, but especially in the past year that
Yeah.
we've been on this journey together. He about a year ago, he sent me a DM. He had been wearing he was a customer. He was buying
Buying stuff.
Fuel Hunt gear and wearing it. And he tagged us. He did a keynote, and he had the enemy tee on, and he tagged us. And we started talking. Like, we just had a little relationship. Here and there, we would just trade DMs. And about a year ago, he sent me a DM, and he was like, look, man, like, I really fuck with what you're doing. You know I'm a big supporter. I'm a customer.
Here are my receipts.
He's like, yeah, exactly. He's like, if there was ever an opportunity for me to be involved in what you guys are doing, I would love it.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
that started the conversation. Like 3 weeks later, I flew out, like met his team. You know, we met face to face for the first time, shook hands, had the energy meeting, and yeah, he joined Fuel Hunt.
That's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Now, is there only a select people that you would bring in?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have no interest in partners.
Just a random person who threw money at you, be like, no, I don't want anything to do with you. But he's like somebody who aligns with your goals. Where's your shit?
Yeah,
so that's kind of
he
said the energy meeting.
Lives the lifestyle. Yeah. You know, I aspire to live the life that he has and have the impact on society that he has. So, like, all of those boxes had to be checked. We had over the years some very astute people come to us and say, like, look, you guys have something special, and, you know, here's some money to fuel what you're doing to accelerate your growth. You know, we want to be partners, and we shut them all down.
Yeah, it's not worth it. You don't want to sell out. This is your passion. This is your purpose.
Yeah, they weren't the right people. B is probably the person, you know, and the only person. So, yeah, it's been great. It's been great. So he's been a great friend and mentor over the past year. And then, you know, aside from him, you know, obviously, you know, I've had some great teachers, my parents, you know, things like that.
Course.
Yeah.
And now, are you taking that? So now that you've had the benefit of having these kind of mentors in your life, and like you're under kind of their wing in some aspects, in some regards, are you now able to kind of push that onto somebody else? Like, are you taking other people under your wings? Are you taking on that mentor role?
Yeah. I
think that's important to kind of perpetuate that growth for individuals.
Yeah, I think that, like, I think a successful individual is somebody that, you know, builds themselves up to the person that they always aspire to be, and then gives away all those tools.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm in the process of building myself to the person that I want to be, and everything that I'm learning along the way, I'm giving away to the community.
Through, like, your writing, basically.
Through writing, and we just this is an exclusive for you guys, but we just launched Fuel Hunt Rise, which is a private Fuel Hunt social network.
Okay.
It is a program with both personal development benefits, growth benefits, and then also gear benefits. So think of it like a personal development program plus Amazon Prime. Okay. So you can get, you know, free shipping on your gear, free gifts with your orders, early access to drops. But in addition to that, we have a small community right now. The early invitations that went out to a few hundred people. 100 people joined, so it's a small, intimate group of 100 right now. And there, I'm, you know, on a daily basis, pouring a lot into them, more than I can do on social media, because it's easier to be vulnerable and be open in a smaller setting.
Oh yeah, than to post it on the internet and you're not responding to this one person.
Yeah.
Do you feel like if you were to put it just on social media too, with how many followers you have, that it would kind of get lost in the noise?
The Rise.
Yeah.
We will open it up to the community. It's a paid thing, right? So you pay attention to what you pay for.
I was gonna say that it too. You always are gonna pay more attention to what you.
Yeah, you pay attention to what you pay for.
Anything, it's like I don't.
Yeah. It's nominal. The fee is completely not, like, compared to some personal development programs, monthly are $199, $299, $399, $1,000 a month.
Part of one I pay $395 a month for.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I'm learning from it, which is good.
So this is a fraction of that. It's a fraction of that. So we actually want to bring more people in, because we're grateful to Instagram for all that they've done for us over the years in helping us build this community. But it's a weird place, man.
Yeah, a lot of social media.
It's a weird place.
So how are people finding? How are you disseminating information to people?
This is right now. It's invitation only.
Yeah.
In mid-November, we'll open it up to, like, another wave of members, and then we have an app.
Oh,
it's a private social network. So think of it as like private Instagram, basically. It's an app. It's on Mighty Networks, if you're familiar with that platform. It's got all the bells and whistles. We can go live. We can do all sorts of stuff. So there's another way that, you know, we'll be pouring it back.
That's exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody can take you down. You can kind of say what you want. be a part of your own
Exactly.
exclusive community.
Exactly. You can say you can deliver your message without having to worry about somebody pulling the plug.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. Yep. You'd be surprised. I mean, we're very like value focused. Like all we want to do is add value and help people. We're not judgmental. We don't attack people, and we still deal with bullshit on Instagram. Like people reporting us because like we don't believe in shortcuts. Like what the fuck is that? Like what?
You believe in hard work? I don't want to sweat.
Exactly.
He
Like,
wants us to sweat.
It's like
You're banned.
I don't know.
24 hours.
Like it's cool if you don't believe in it,
Yeah.
and we're not for you. It's all good.
Just don't follow me.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
don't look
Yeah,
at my
just
shit.
don't. You don't have to like report us, dude. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Just don't like the page.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Just avert your eyes, dude. Just
Well, I mean, you
Do
guys
something
do
else.
spend a lot on ads because I get a lot of ads from you guys.
We do,
so you
yeah.
definitely spend. Can
This
I
is-
ask like how much you spend on ads per month? Is that like?
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Because
Yeah,
I was
it's a
gonna
lot.
say I must meet your category of what. I don't know what, but I have ads on Facebook, Instagram, anywhere possible.
Yeah, more likely.
Criteria.
Yeah.
The other
I guess that's a good thing. I'll take it as a
good thing.
compliment.
Before, back in the day when Instagram was chronological and things were a little different in the world, like it was possible to get traction organically. Nowadays, you have to pay to play. And there's people out there, well, no, you have to be polarizing, and if you're polarizing this, that, and the other, then it's free and you'll attract attention. Well, I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in being like exactly.
Just to get free followers.
Right. So I'll pay gladly to get our core messages out in front of the right people and bring them into the community.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
One of the questions we've been asking our guests, obviously you do a lot of content already, but it was if this was the last minute or two that you could leave a message for your wife, your kids, the people who look up to you, what would be your values and principles for them to live by?
Yeah.
Just a quick this is kind of the things that if you live by this, you're going to be successful, you're going to be happy.
That's a good question.
It's a hard question.
I know it's kind of hard, but
That's
just
that's a good that's a really good question. I think it's a good question.
I'll give you a second to think. So the reasoning for that is because we feel like the content's always going to be around the video.
Yeah.
So we're leaving it for our kids. If anything happens to us,
Yep.
your kids can still see what you believed in, where you don't know what your great-grandfather believed in.
Sure. Yeah, no,
Where-
that's the nice thing about it. It's always going to be here.
So that's why we're trying to gain 2 minutes of what you really feel your values and principles.
It's not that I don't know what I want to say.
You want to say so much.
I want to say so much, and I'd probably be like the Micro Machines guy. That's probably a dated reference. You get it. You get
I
it.
don't get
I
it.
don't know if you're How old are you?
31.
Okay, well,
It's just
close
a little.
enough.
I grew up with girls. I just probably didn't see whatever.
Yeah, it's Micro Machines guy. I talked a mile a minute on the commercials. It's a long story, but that's what I want to do. I want to talk a mile a minute, jam all this stuff in there. I tell my kids. So I have actually email accounts for my kids. I don't know if you do this, but I have email accounts for my kids, and I send them emails every day.
I'm going to do that now.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this. Let's hear a lot more about that.
So it's thebowengirls.com, and they have email addresses at that.com, and I'll transfer ownership of that to them when they're of age, so they have it and they can read them when they're 18 or whatever. So I try to perpetuate these messages there because Lord knows what's going to happen on Instagram. But that's where I tell them, things, these type of things.
Is that an original idea? Is that your idea?
No, I think other people have done it.
So what's the email? How does it
So
work?
I set up a custom domain, but you
Okay.
can just set up a Gmail, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, and just keep the username and password. And I'm a tech guy, so I set up my own domain with my own
okay. I thought
mailboxes.
this was already.
so-
That might even be a business.
It is, yeah, it definitely. I bet you
Yeah.
it could be a business. Yeah, if it's not, it could be.
It probably will be now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I own childhoodletters.com. If
There you
anybody wants it for purchase.
Quickly getting it on his phone real fast.
My buddy and I a couple years ago bought it, and we were going to do something, but we didn't.
I love this idea.
Yeah, but what I would say is two things I tell my daughters: just try. You know what I mean? All achievement starts with trying. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be right now. You just need to try. That would be the first thing. And the second thing is, if you're focused, you're fine. Just be focused. Choose something to focus on. In the moment where you are, where your feet are, give your full attention to it, and you'll be fine. Those are two things that I tell my kids constantly.
I told my son, Tristan, my son, I told him a couple of things, but I think if I had to answer your question right now, I would have to say, prepare to fail, but always get back up. Know that I love you forever. And I always tell him, stand tall.
Yep. Yeah, I love that.
Stand with confidence, stand with pride, believe in what you're doing.
Yep, I love that.
And that would be like, I'm getting emotional. Damn it, Steven.
I know,
Hey,
that's
man,
why I had to pause, man, because I was going to lose it,
look,
dude. I'm not gonna,
Tony's definitely starting this email thing tonight because I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because he's been in law enforcement. I'm a career fireman, so like I see death. I know what death is. I know that I could die at any moment. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm more afraid of not leaving that impact on the people that I care about.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
that's an awesome email. Like it's almost like you can keep a journal, but like a journal, whatever, an email, it's kind of like an everyday easy thing.
You can attach, like, I took my daughter on her first fishing trip over the summer. We just went to a pond. There was nothing to say, but I took some photos. I attached them. I told her how I felt about how she did that day,
I like that it's in the internet atmosphere because you could leave a hard drive somewhere.
Yeah.
Shit gets broken, shit gets lost, shit gets wet.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I got it. Microsoft will be around by the time they're 18.
Yeah, I think there'll be a Gmail and Outlook, all that.
I think Gmail's safe.
Yep. I actually pales in comparison to your service, both of your services, but I worked in a funeral home, like as a youth, like 14 years old. I worked in a funeral home for a couple of years, so like I also seen like a lot of
gnarly stuff.
Yeah,
real life, like real shit.
So
happens.
that like rings your bell, dude.
Yeah.
Especially at a young age, it rings your bell, and you're like, wow, like I could go at any moment.
I think it's almost the opposite of desensitizing you to death. It sensitizes you to it because you're seeing in person. That's a fucking person. That was a person.
Yeah,
it was a
person.
Am I living to my potential because I could be dead tomorrow? Did I live up to where I wanted to live up to?
There was one thing, and this is, I wish at, 15 or, when I was working at Givnish Funeral Home in Fox Chase, I wish I had this insight then. I wish I had this insight then, but there's one thing that every person that came through, besides passing, there's one thing that everybody had in common. They all had regrets. Every single body in that room. And I wish I knew that then. I know it now. So I'm fortunate because I feel like there's a lot of people that still don't know that that's going to happen. So like you have to live life to your like fullest capability every day, because the worst thing that can happen is for you to go with regrets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And not, like you said, leaving that message too.
Yeah,
like how you're leaving that message for them. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The funeral home was an interesting experience that I'll never forget. I'm fortunate to have worked there. As weird as that sounds.
I find funeral homes really weird in a sense that I don't even want to go. I don't want to have a funeral because like why are you waiting till I'm dead to tell me that you actually gave a shit? Like if you told me you gave a shit, like your aunts and uncles or like far distant cousins or your friends gonna come. I haven't talked to some of these people in years, and they're gonna come pay their respects.
Yeah.
I hate the idea of it. I don't want a funeral. I want to be cremated, dump me in the ocean.
That's what
like if you didn't tell me, I don't care now.
I've got a list of locations, and I'm the same way. I'm like, you know what,
Costa
dude?
Rica, in case
just
you don't know, Megan.
Cremate me, and I have a list of locations. My wife is an excellent executor, so she'll execute on this list, and she'll sprinkle me in different places, and it'll be good.
Why don't people have real conversations? You know what I mean? Like, why is everything so surface level? I don't know how we're going down this path, but fuck it.
Yeah, no.
Like, why is everything so hey, how are you? How was your day? How's like? I love these conversations. That's like another thing.
Emotional about shit isn't easy.
It's uncomfortable. It's hard, and people don't want to do uncomfortable things. That's what it. When you're surrounded by so much comfort, it's nothing wrong with the person. It's just that it becomes second nature to be comfortable. Yeah. So why? They'd rather beat around the bush. Talk about the weather.
Or the game.
The game.
How's the game? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't missed it.
Yeah.
Catch what you can, but you don't know. Like
everybody can thank me for the Phillies and being in the World Series because I stopped watching sports. So I think I did it.
I'll tell you, thank you.
I think I did it.
Probably a decade, but
I think I did it. I think I did it. I think I did it. Yeah.
Good year to be Philadelphia.
Yeah. For sure.
What's the next progression for you?
Yes, for Fuel Hunt. So Fuel Hunt Rise was a big one.
Yeah.
That was a big one, and I think that
that's a new focal point for right now.
I think so. We're always going to be the uniform of hard workers.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's going to continue. We've made a lot of progress, like you said earlier. You see us everywhere.
You guys are doing shirts for us.
But we'll be which I appreciate.
Yeah.
We'll be the folks that unseat Under Armour or Nike. Like that's how big we want to be without the bullshit.
That's what I was gonna say. That's like our idea too. It's like, why is everybody so like, either stand with us or don't. Like, believe in hard work, do your thing, and have your own values and principles.
Yeah.
Like, don't come at me and take away. I don't want to go too deep into it. But
I mean, times have changed. I think that folks felt like they had to. They didn't have options. Now they have options.
Yeah.
You know, it's like brick and mortar. You know, brick and mortar clothing is struggling. You know what I mean? Because a lot of folks want to wear apparel or clothing that represents their beliefs. And you know, we feel strongly in our beliefs of hard work, service, freedom, our three core beliefs, and
which is beautiful because it's not political, it's not one-sided. Everybody can hop on it if they choose to put the work in, and if they don't, then do what you're doing. You're not offended by it.
The thing, yeah, exactly. Like, I'm a first principle thinker. Like, I could. I don't want to say I could give a damn about some of the things that are going on politically or whatever, but I'm always focused on first principles first. And for me, first principles are hard work, first principles are freedom, first principles are service.
Yeah.
And like you said, they're things that everybody can get behind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody can get behind. And that's the thing. We're kind of, we're polarizing, but we're not. Like, we're for everybody, but we're not for everybody. It's a nice dichotomy that we have.
There's a choice there. There's a mental choice that you as an end user have. Do I jive with this message, or do I jive with the message of the other person?
And it's also like, you either do or you don't. It's not like, well, I kind of agree with this.
We're in or out. Yeah, that's the thing. We're in or out. That's where I think our polarizing, for everybody but not for everybody comes in, because it's like, you can't have one toe in.
Yeah, but it's a choice.
You can't have one toe in.
You're not ever willing to change on that.
Yeah,
which is
no.
the best part.
Yeah,
You see all these other companies, and I'm not going to throw names out there, but they do change.
The bigger they get, the more they want to please or whatever.
Yeah.
Or it's easier to stay not canceled. I know cancel culture is a huge thing, whether it be right or wrong. It's still a huge thing.
Yep.
And I feel like it's to a spot where that's not something that's going to fall on your doorstep, because you're in or you're out.
Yeah,
There's no fence line there.
People are starting to. I think society as a whole is starting to wake up a little bit. I think we went through this. Technology accelerated us so far. There was so many opinions, so much data, so much spin, and then over the past couple of years, we went through some things. I think that society's starting to wake up a little bit, and I think that there's brighter days on the horizon for everybody.
I agree completely.
Yeah, I would say so.
How can people get in touch with you? Stole your line.
Yeah. Easiest way, fuelhunt.com, or on Instagram @fuelhunt. Come join the community.
And they can find out where the daily attack plan is, all that stuff online?
Yeah, so there's a jump link to daily attack plan on fuelhunt.com. And like I said, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to make a public announcement about Fuel Hunt Rise.
Awesome.
And if you do join Fuel Hunt Rise, you get a daily attack plan membership for free.
So slide in your DMs about trying to be a part of the ride.
Yeah. If you're listening to this, you have an early invitation. So yeah, definitely DM us. Yep. Shoot.
When we first met, you were wildly into photography. Is that still a passion of yours?
I do love photography.
Yeah.
I think I'm a creator by nature. Like, I'm an artist by nature, and that was one medium that I was working in at the time, just like computers and writing programs.
Page, I think.
Yeah.
Because you used to post a lot of cool shit on there.
Yep.
So are you? I know that we're trying.
So I don't do any of the photography for it. No, but I still have my eye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same with, like, now my artistic expression is through my content, my words.
Yeah.
I do all my copywriting. I don't have fucking ghostwriters. So, like, you get an email from me today about prosciutto. I wrote that. Like, I wrote that. You know what I mean? That's my story.
I read it because it said prosciutto.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are we talking
You're like, I'm hungry. Is this a recipe?
Like, what are we talking about today?
I like to pique curiosity, man, and then like at the end of the email, hit you with a value bomb. But so now my artistic expression isn't behind the camera anymore. It's through the sketches I do for our clothing, and then my words on paper. But yeah.
Dude, I can't thank you enough for driving out here for one.
Like I said, if you were 3 hours away, I still would have came. I like jamming with like-minded folks, man. I like what you guys are doing. Your family, literally.
Yeah.
Both of you now.
Through some crazy marriages
and family too.
Exactly, dude.
A second cousin through marriage for me.
All right, guys. You like the video? Give it a like. Subscribe to the channel. We got a lot more coming at you. See you.